Hi, I'm Amaya and welcome back to my channel. VVS is a kind of K-pop group we rarely see. VVS has a podcast but no regular content. They're centered around hip-hop instead of pop, and now they're independent artists instead of being under a K-pop company. In just over a year since their debut, VVS has experienced every issue a group could go through at this point. So today, we're going over their history as a group, the timeline of most of the scandals they've been involved in, and where they can go in the future as an independent group. VVS debuted under MZMC Entertainment, a very small company with CEO Paul Thompson. He was previously a producer for major K-pop companies like JYP and SM. Some of his biggest hits are Love Shot by EXO and Cherry Bomb by NCT 127. VVS's lineup was announced over a year before their debut. In an interview with Billboard's Jeff Benjamin, Thompson said that he wanted to make his vision for K-pop come to life because no other company would 100% let him go forward with it. Based on this interview, VVS was originally set to debut in October of 2024, but it was pushed back to April 2025.
We had just pushed back debut. We were supposed to debut in October.
October.
But one of the reasons that we pushed it back was because we were kind of negotiating with SM about that deal, so we pushed it back. What's funny is that deal never went through.
The lineup was announced as Britney, born in 2003, Ailey, born in 2005, Rana, born in 2006, Jiu, born in 2008, and Leewon, born in 2009. Their first bit of controversy came from their group name. VVS is the name of K-pop boy group Vanner's fan base, and they had been around for 6 years at this time, so some of their fans were pretty upset that they were taking their name and making it into a new group's name. However, this was a very small scandal, and it pales in comparison to the other ones we'll get to later in the video. VVS's first project was a pre-debut single album called T, and it featured 2 songs, T and Facts. A few weeks after this project, they released another pre-debut song called Perfect. I can't roll my R's, so that's all we get. Although these sounded like K-pop songs, they were also a lot more rap-heavy and featured more mature themes than the average K-pop group would have. This was controversial as both Jiu and Leewon were underage at this time. In T, Jiu says, "Temperature's hot, whoa, ooh, hot, temperature's hot, whoa, ooh, hot, hit the spot." They both sing the pre-chorus, "My name is on your red lips, you'll get drunk off my sweet scent." VVS debuted with the EP DIMM on May 19th, 2025, with their title track of the same name. DIMM is undoubtedly their most popular song. Looking at this music video, it's surprisingly high budget considering the group's financial troubles. The song DIMM itself was controversial because of some of Britney's lines, specifically "Sleep in the back got me feeling like Biden." I'm moving presidential in the red. Sleep in the bed got me feeling like Biden. That was a little bit of a controversial line, as well as "I hit him once, then he blow me a kiss cause I murdered that kitty, that's her dying wish." I hit him once and he blew me a kiss cause I murdered that kitty, that's her dying wish. That's a controversial line as well. Lena, born in 2003, was featured in this music video, but at the end in a separate section, and she was added to VVS during this era. This is actually a later event I have to retroactively add in, but after the Cat's Eye La Seraphim Islet collab with Iconic by Mistake, VVS's team took to their official Instagram page to put up a picture comparing scenes from the DIMM music video to scenes from Islet in the Iconic by Mistake music video, basically saying that Islet was copying them. However, Islet did a dentist concept months before VVS released their DIMM music video in Islet's Cherish My Love music video. Jiu went on hiatus in November of 2025. VVS's first comeback was with the EP Stay the Night, released April 22nd, 2026, 1 full year since their first pre-debut project. They had 2 singles for this project, those being Dash and Stay the Night. This was also the first era where the girls got to perform on music shows. Although they had 2 singles for this album, they were only able to perform Dash and not Stay the Night because of music show censorship rules.
So why did we do Dash when Stay the Night was out? Dash was the only song that got approved.
This was a really big feat for the group. They previously wanted to perform on music shows, but they weren't able to do it because of high costs and because they weren't prioritized as a newer group from a small company.
Each week, there's only about 12 slots. per show. Like when we applied, there's 60 teams that applied. The big four are going to get at least half those. And then the medium-sized companies like our size fighting over like 3 slots.
Around late April 2026, they announced that GU left the group because she liked singing but really didn't like the idol lifestyle.
But GU, around the time we filmed Touch It, just decided she didn't want to be an idol. She likes to sing, and that's it. Yes. She didn't like to dance. She didn't like the fitness aspect. She didn't like learning other languages.
After Stay the Night era, they announced that MZMC Entertainment would be closing and that VVS would continue on as an independent group.
I was developing VVS. I was still producing, executive producing, and I just got tired of it. Been doing it a long time, and I retired.
Yep.
I closed the business and I moved home. MZMC production and publishing and like songwriting, that's all closed.
In the same episode, they told us that Ailee was leaving the group because she wanted to stay in Korea instead of going to LA with everyone else, and because she preferred the security of being in the K-pop system as opposed to being an independent artist.
The fear of going independent, the fear of leaving Korea more often, just how hard that is. I think that kind of scared her, and she made the decision that she did not want to continue.
At this point, the group had lost their main vocalist, Jiu, and one of their 2 main rappers in Ailee. After living in South Korea for over a decade, founding his own company, scouting and training trainees, debuting them, and only having a group for a year, Paul Thompson decided that he didn't want to continue with this company and moved back to the US.
I just got tired of it. I closed the business and I moved home.
VVS is now based in LA instead of being based in Seoul, and they're moving away from the K-pop model.
The way the business was run, we decided that functioning in the Korean system wasn't the best for us. We wanted to expand.
I'll link their podcast episode in the description box, which does more explaining, of course. They're trying to do more of a Western promotional strategy as opposed to a K-pop one, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Financial troubles.
Lena, we're broke.
Ooh, I don't know if that's a moment. In the beginning, they were betting on funding from SM Entertainment, which of course would have made a huge difference. Paul also explained in one of their podcast episodes how expensive it was to run this company, from getting makeup artists for videos, doing shoots, even just getting a choreographer to choreograph one song was thousands of dollars. So just imagine all of the expenses that they had.
Paying the stylist for one project is about $7,000. $7,000 to $10,000. That doesn't include buying the clothes, and that doesn't include like their assistance fees and things like that.
At the end, the MZMC company only consisted of Paul as the CEO, 2 staff members, and the VVS members. Paul also mentioned in this podcast episode that some staff members may have been stealing from the company, or that they were at the very least lying to them, and that made things super difficult as well.
We've had probably some of the worst luck when your main investor drops out a month before your debut, then your lead vocalist leaves right before all your live performances, and you got to relearn all your vocals, like people stealing from the guy. We don't have to go into all of it.
Some other points of controversy for VVS were the way that they dress, this video, some claiming that their hip-hop theming leads into uncomfortable territory, and people complaining about the vulgarity of their music.
And I know fans get mad, like, make songs that have less cursing and stuff, but, you know, we'll think about it.
I think Paul just wanted to make a K-pop group that makes his music, and all of these other things were a lot to add on top of it. I also think that VVS has a specific sound and style that don't mesh with the K-pop fan base and system. Their songs are too vulgar for music shows. They don't post content outside of their podcast. Their podcast and songs are mainly in English as well, which isolates some of their domestic audience. Finally, many DVs feel that Paul can be too integrated with the VVS brand. He's in every episode of the podcast, and the interviews that I've seen from them were really based around him and his career as a producer. To me, this was good initially, especially pre-debut, because he already had an established brand and he could just latch VVS onto that. But since the podcast is the only content we get from this group, and Paul is heavily included in it, I think it makes for a Jay Park long shot situation where he's almost like an extra member of the group. Paul mentioned that going forward, he will still support VVS, kind of like a CEO, but not on paper. I think VVS is the kind of group that always felt different from the beginning. If I was in the room when they pitched the idea for VVS, I would have said to keep the hip hop idea, but to go a more K-pop friendly route, I also would have pushed them to do content. I understand that this is a very small company, but even a video of the girls playing Monopoly would have let fans be more acquainted with them and show us a little bit more of their group dynamic. It's really hard to get a feel for some of the members in the podcast, especially because all of them don't speak English to the same level. I would love to see the members make more content in Korean, where we could see Liwon and Rana show more of their personality, talk a little bit more. I also wonder where this group wants to go in the future. Having the security of a company beneath you is a huge thing, and going independent is a really big decision to make. Despite Diamonds in My Mouth being their most popular song, I think that where they really struck gold was with Perfect, songs like T, but let's save some of that messaging until we're a group of adults. If I were there, I would have had VVS debut with all adults, but I would also try to have a physical album release for them. They had 1,000 copies printed of their debut album, but other than that, they have no physical albums. And they're trying to shop around with other companies. I just don't see other people trying to pick up this group based off of where they are right now and where they want to go. With VVS being independent now, the biggest question is how are they going to continue forward with no money?
Lena, we're broke.
It seems as though for these girls to continue forward, they have to do things themselves. Paul did cancel their debt as their company has dissolved. So unless he's coming out of his pocket to pay for this, the girls obviously haven't made any money from VVS. Unless a company picks them up, how does the group plan to continue forward? I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, hype this video because it sends my video out to a larger audience. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!